Okay, so hello, welcome back to the tutorial videos. If you have not watched how to use the shader or set it up in Blender, please go back to that video and watch it before you go to this video, as this video will be requiring you to use that shader. So, for rendering, first let me explain what I have going on here. I have a bloom effect, which makes it has a little ambiance. You can copy these settings if you want to, for this example, but for now, I'm going to be posing the model to do a render now. I'm going to do a simple one, so I'm going to try doing the panel selection Tanjiro pose with him with the holding Wisteria flower. I'm not going to do the background, I'm just going to do the pose. So usually what I do is that I go to every material and make AL threshold 0 and make shadow threshold 0. So these two, I usually make them very small. So like a face, AL threshold 0. Same with the face. Make a negative if you need to. Same with the hair. Coat. The reason why I do this is so I can see the model in its simplest form, so I can pose it correctly without any lighting and etc. and lighting and other contrast messing up my vision. So with this, set up that. So people might think I pose with an IK rig. I have not posed with an IK rig. Well, I have, but I can't talk about that as that's confidential. I usually just pose with an FK rig as that's what I'm used to. It's what I've been doing. It may be a little inconveniencing for most people, but I think it's fine and it's kind of fun to work around with. Usually what I do is so I go to viewport display under our object data properties on our armature, and I change it from octahedral because this is way too messy to work with to wire or stick. Depends on what you want to work with. I guess for now I'll work with stick bones. So I go to pose mode. Oh, let's see, before we go to total pose, let me change my stencils into the transparent ones. I can actually experiment and see what's going on properly with these. As I did explain this earlier in the previous video. That's why I'm doing this. So now if I go to pose, oh, I usually have a second window open over here so I can see the angles of the pose. As for most renders, to look two-dimensional and not 3D, you have to do perspective posing and scaling. So you choose the camera you want, choose the camera angle, and you pose it to the camera. You don't move the camera to make the pose look nicer. You pose the character itself. So for now, let me change the resolution. It's not correct, but I'm just gonna get the 4K resolution size up. Oh, whoops. 8, 40, 41, 60. And then look at my reference image for Tanjiro. I'm gonna move the camera back a bit. I do want to move the camera a little bit, even though I did say I do want to pose the character to the camera. You just will have a sense of scale and depth. So I usually just, let me rotate. No. I rotate a slight amount. Move him. Open up the armature. Open up the spines. Go to the arms. Shoulder. Let's see. His chest is a lot more visible in the reference image. So let me try moving him back farther. I think about here is fine. Oh, what's going on with my mouse? Okay, that's weird. I love working on stuff. Why is it doing that? Huh? I must have hit a hotkey by accident or something, shortcut. 1 second. I'm gonna save the blend file. If I can. It's locked in there. Okay, I hit escape. I'm sorry about that. First one got pose mode. And disable the point lights I have in the scene currently. We'll just delete them outright. They're messing with the posing, the lighting. So now if I go to shoulder, I can now start posing this the way I want it to pose. Your shoulders kind of look a little... I think they look a little broad, kind of, so I'm trying moving them out a little bit more. Shoulder, right arm, completely down, about there. Let me... That's fine. Left arm, left shoulder. His left shoulder is a bit more raised. Okay. And if I imagine that I'm doing the pose in real life, I would probably move my arm a little bit more forward to the front. And this would probably be a little more rotated. The arm would be down about that much. Rotate the arm, so the higher that's the sleeve going back like that. Forearm, rotate that up to about there. Actually a little bit lower. And then I grab the twists, no, coat sleeve, there it is. Move the sleeve down a little bit. Down, sleeve top, there. And then grab all of these, the hand, lower it, rotate, get some more till it's about accurate to what's going on in the reference image. Open up hand. Move the hand, rotation out there, move the hand up, bend it. Thumb isn't really visible, so, and the knuckles are a little bit more visible. So if I do it about there, it looks pretty good. Move the whole hand about here. There we go. the wireframe there. Move the finger down a bit. Actually, I can just grab all the fingers. Hit individual origins, which is period and going down. And then rotate about that much. Think like the median. Move that one a little bit lower. Fingers creating a weird bend, so I'll just move it like that. That. Looks good on the render we're trying to do here. Doesn't have to look too good from the other angles. It just needs to get the point across what the render's gonna look like. If you're animating, you might want to. If you're animating this, you might want to making it look good from other angles, or just force the perspective every time you try moving it. I'm not much of an animator, but that's the most I can at least give tips for. So if you're trying to do that. Just moving around the bones so it all looks correct. It's kind of like, well, it's pretty much like tracing, but in 3D. I get the pose looking right. His next bout here, the hand should be a lot higher. So if I look at the upper arm, about this height, move forearm. No, I think I should move the coat sleeve entirely. Top. My computer lagged. And then I can lower that. Here we go. And got a little screwed up. I was moving it around. There we go. And onto the head. Neck. Rotate it. The head. Rotate it. He looks up a little bit, so we move the head a bit up there. His chin comes out a little bit more, so we can try moving the head that direction. Chin, maybe a bit more. There we go. That's about right. That much. Pose the earring a little bit lower. Rotate it maybe that much to get the perspective it has in the shot. The anime. This is when I would usually change it back to wider so I can see the pose a lot better. Looks like the body, or not the body, the arm has to move a little bit closer to the left. So it's about this distance. I would say about that much. And then with the face, we can now start posing the face a lot more. So put the head, face root. We have face, lower, middle, and upper. So when I see these, I go, huh, Is the face having a forced perspective? Do I have to move the forehead around like this? Which I might have to increase the scale of it a bit, so go to hair root and grab that. Start scaling it like this. And maybe scale it on the x-axis a bit, so I hit SX, S, then hit the letter S to separate the axis like that. To scale it. Then with face upper, we have 3 forehead bones up here. We can move around. So if we need to move them around, I would move them around. So this one I might move or scale up a bit. And face middle will have everything in here, including eyebrows, face bones, ear bones, whatever you need. Right ear, I'm gonna scale it a bit. In the anime shot, it looks pretty big. So let's scale that. Then we have the eyebrows. So let me grab all of the left ones. All of the left ones. Not the one grabbing the eyebrow itself. Where's the skin part? There it is. Grab all of these. Move them slightly up. He's a little bit bewildered or shocked by the flowers. So if I grab that, the inner parts of the eyebrow, and then grab B, move those up, A, a bit more. I grab the A bone, and move that a little bit around to soften it. And to grab B again, get up a bit, A, up a bit more, grab B, because it looks way too flat. It needs a little bit more of a curve going around the forehead. C, A, there we go. And then the right eyebrow. So the right brow. These. Move it up. Back up here. Rotate a bit. You don't have to rotate, just sometimes I just do it because it works most of the time. That one. Lower to that distance, E, grab D, C, grab B, get around, A. Might be better just to grab the eyebrow itself, not the skin part, as it would create an outline artifact if I move it too high up. Add a little bit more. Let's grab it again. Go. There's a little bit of artifact going on here, eyebrow. Let me see if I can fix that by moving around B around. I can fix that all. Is it with the eyebrow A? Did I do something with eyebrow A? I think that's the best we can get it right now. I'm just trying to make this video to make a basic idea of what's going on with rendering. And with Tanjiro, a lot of times his eyes aren't equal sized. Usually what's closest to the camera is bigger in scale, so I'll make this eye considerably larger. Move it around the eye bone, main eye bone root. And I grab left. Yeah, there it is. Maybe shrink it or scale a little bit more and then push it back here. Depending on what the shot needs, I will scale these appropriately. Maybe a little bit smaller, maybe it's a little too big. Then we're going to find nose. His nose is going about there, rotate it up. Then we have the forehead parts of the nose. Move that, scale it, create that sharp point. We have the other forehead bone. I'm going to move that. Outline the forehead. Move that a little bit more forward. I think the forehead's a little too big, so I'm gonna lower all of that. Actually, I could just reset it. Scale, close like that. Reset it. Maybe it needs not to be bigger. Maybe it needs to be rotated like that. There, I think maybe I'm gonna keep messing with this till it looks correct. Yeah, that's right. This part will look weird constantly though, because there's no mask covering his hair, but I'll try making that look nice as possible as well. Let's go into the forehead part. Do I do move that a little more? There we go. And then with the mouth, we gotta place the mouth now. So if we go to face lower, we have the jaw, which now we can rotate down. So rotate about that much. And then move the lips. His lips are about there. Usually you don't move the teeth, but sometimes it just doesn't matter with the pose. So I lower it there. Then we have the mouth bones, the lip bones. I will move that around. That one, try to round it out. Grab this one, grab that one, rotate, just rounding it out. There we go. This one, more forward, more of a round shape. Move that one up, yep. There we go, creating more of the accurate shape we need for the render. I'm gonna lower these ones a bit, just creating an odd shape. This one's creating a good shape. Now we got the chin shadow. Move it a little bit off, scale it to size we need, and rotate it a little bit to that point. I think most of these left are a bit more, the shape is a little bit higher or bigger, a little bit here. Make that a little bit bigger. Looks a little too flat up here, so I'm gonna try smoothing it out with the rest of the lip like that. I want more unique shape here. Maybe grab these lip bones, the edge, and push them a bit back, so we don't have this little gap in the mouth. It's a little bit more flush against the teeth. I think that's about good. Now with the eyes. Tanjiro's eyes are uniquely shaped each time. So here, maybe a little bit longer. These ones are about a little bit lower if we rotate. If I grab E on here, and move it a bit more back. Grab this part of the eye, shape it around. We need to move the eyelids out a bit more so I don't have no clipping with the pose. This part. Out. This one a little bit more up there. His eyelids have a little bit more of a sharp edge, so let's try replicating that. C, if I grab C, S, scale it a bit, it should be able to create the sharper look we want in the eyelids. I got the eyeshadow mesh that's parented underneath the eyelid. Move it a bit forward and lower it a bit over all of them, because I do need to pose this anyway. Like that. Grab this, rotate, grab that. I'm gonna keep trying moving this around so it looks correct. B looks a bit. Probably scale down B a bit. Make that a little sharper of an edge, so A can go there. Like up here, eyeshadow A. Make that there. Eyeshadow B. Up there. I think this is a bit too big now. Scale it a little bit smaller and make the eye a little bit more raised. Because if I try drawing a line here, I'm trying to do a perspective, maybe like that. Like that. Kinda. So maybe about that. Then we have our eyeshadow meshes, which are the glabella shadows, they're called. Move it off the head a little bit, rotate it, grab this part, shrink it, grab this one, move it out there. I think that's fine. The next one we do have to move around a bit more. So if I rotate it about here, so I can now start posing this towards the camera better. grab that. That. More clipping. There we go. And grab this one to get closer. And which one is controlling that? There it is. So we create that shadow. I think the left one needs to be a little bit bigger. This one needs to be smaller at a point. This one has to be that. And you can see how it's a lot more coming together now with the pose. The last thing I'm posing around now is the hair. So if I go to the hair, which is, there it is, hair root, hair upper, hair middle. So hair middle, I would probably not mess with right now. Hair back. Which one do I need to mess with? Okay, so this one. I'm gonna make that goes about there for the hair. See, I'll just leave that alone. Just maybe, yeah, I'll leave it alone. Hair lower. Let's pick up the hair. I can grab these. Keep them a little bit more out. Maybe. And then if I go to hair root upwards, where most of the hair bones are, I can now start messing with the sideburns. These sideburns are clipping to the ear, so moving forward. Gotta rotate them about this angle to create the shot or the accurate angle it's supposed to be in, like the anime. Got the lower one, and I need to scale it a bit. It's a bit skinnier than the main one. In the reference shot, like so. Grab the main one. It's a bit lower, it's about like there. Grab the smaller one, move it back down there. About that much looks nice. And mess with this one. I need to mess with some of these hair spikes. It's a little awkward for the director view. So which spike is this one? This one, okay. So if I grab this one, rotate it, and try to pose it to look nice. Get it to point upwards nicely. About like that. This one, that's fine. We need this spike to come here. So that would be this hair. Yes, that was good. Then I can move it there. And then I can try fixing the left. You want to make that a little bit small, a little bit weird. So let me go to his left sideburns. Make these look nicer. A little more noticeable. Grab both of them. Push it a little bit more back. Actually, no. I think better keep it as is. And then just move these ones up. Like so. Got that one. No, this one. Smaller. This one. Smaller, skinnier. Move these around a bit. And now let's reapply all the AO and shadows. So threshold 0. Let's bring back all the lighting. Shadows. Hair. And is fine. Face, right, face. Bring back all the face AO. Lighting. Go. And let's add the shadow tint to the hand, because the hand looks like it's missing it. There we go. Face, shadow tint looks a little bit, actually it looks a lot more lighter in tone. Let's do that. All of these. And then look at the hair. I think that's fine. And then we go to coat. Oh wait, the coat has no AR now, right? Let me re-add that. 0. Processing that on. Less pink, a little bit more blue. And then hide the bones. I think the forearm, if we go back to the forearm, we can move it a little bit more right. Spot right. Right shoulder looks a bit too stiff. How about lower it? Looks good now. Grab some of these hair bones, maybe. This one needs to be a little bit more lower, I think. That one. This one has to go above the ear. There we go. I think that looks good now. So now what we do need to do next is hide all of this. And then, so I have this thing called data. I'm going to delete that temporarily. So when we have lighting on the face, we have all of this. See, the post broke the shading, so duplicate it, Shift D, delete it, delete the armature, and then we have to do this. Add modifier, data transfer, base corner data, custom normals, topology, eye drop tool that, and then like that. Put the model to the side, hide these, hide from rendering too. And now if I move the lighting around, our normals will not be preserved. We don't need it for this render, however, I do need to point that out, just so anyone who's trying to do something with it doesn't get confused. We lower the threshold on the hands a bit. There we go. I think that looks nice. And now I can do the stencil stuff I need to talk about. So stencils, I'm going to go to stencils, shading. We will make that hold out now. Same with the other one, hold out. And now, if I want to do more dynamic stuff with the light, not lighting, but the shading. Copy, or make a snip plane. Give this plane material. Make that hold out. And I'll put it behind the sideburns. And now I can do a bit of this. This was, I was showed this method by @rcreeps. He's a good friend of mine. He's really talented making shaders. I think most people on Twitter know him at this point. He's the one who introduced me to this method of shadows, which I've been using now for the past couple months to help create my shadows on my anime models now. And I was able to get this to work in Unity as well with the help of some other friends of mine, which was really cool. So now I'm able to create these shadows whenever I want. So now I can create shadows like that. Need more at the nose. Got it. So I can do that. There we go. And that's it for that. Now if I go up to here, I do a full copy. You can do a link copy if you wish, if you understand what's going on. However, I prefer doing this for still renders. We're gonna do a full copy, delete all of these. Call this stencil. And then we go to vertex colors on the model and we delete it. Actually, wait. No, we don't delete it. Sorry, my bad. Go to vertex color. No, wait. We can just do this. Never mind. It's all separate right now, right? So if I just... Let me test something. I need to remember how this works. It didn't affect the main, right? No, it did affect it. So in the stencils layer, we want to do this. Duplicate the material so it doesn't no longer affect the first layer. Then we go to AO threshold, push it all the way up. However, we don't have it on the hand, so it doesn't matter. If you do it on the face, which is the most important part. Duplicate it, AO threshold, max it out. And same goes for the eyes. Oh, whoops, didn't duplicate it. There we go. Okay. Oh, I didn't post the eyes, whoops. Let me hide these. I did not post the eyeballs. With the eyes, we do have to move them with UV maps. These are not 3D models. We can't move them with bones unless you rig it that way. So we have to scale these around a bit and move the pupils. That. Maybe a little bit more left. Not that much. Scale, rotate. Oh. And then the right eye, which I believe would look nicer if I made it a little bit wider. Move the white part of his eye a little more in, a little bit off center so it lines up with the other one a bit. It's a bit like that. That. Rotate a bit like that much. Other eye, maybe rotate like that. Right eye. Looks good. That looks fine. Oh, I forgot to pose the other eyelid. Whoops. I didn't pose the other eyelid. Shape B. Doesn't matter too much. I won't focus on those bones. It's fine. Just need to get the eyeshadow down. So it's left eye. All of these. And then lower them. Go. Oh, I have an outline on these backs. Whoops, delete that. I'll go back to my stencil layer and delete that because it's a full copy. New one. Stencil. Delete these. Wait, did I do something wrong? Yes, I moved the stencil here by accident somehow. I delete that one again. New full copy. Stencil. Oops. Delete that. Delete that. And now I can actually duplicate the materials here and make the AOs maxed. For these parts that are going to get stenciled. And now, there's that. Wait for that, I can add point lights now. So point light, slight pink, blue color, specular, it points at the fuse is being lit. Now I can move the point light around, increase order a bit. one on the hair, because the hair's a lot of that point light going on. Lower the brightness a little bit of that. One around the arm there. And then copy all these point lights to the stencil layer. That. Now I can go to compositing, which already have a lot of nodes in here already, alright? Render. Oh, I have a lot of other stuff in here. I have already in here, okay. I'm gonna delete all of these for now. Stencil layer, mix, render. Alright, so nothing pops up. Stencil render? Yep, it did. Good. Now we have mix. So we go to here, here, alpha. I think these need to be flipped around. There we go. And if I plug these in now, the stencil layer has now worked. Yep. See that? Worked as intended. And now I can do other stuff. Not that. Hue, saturation. And let me zoom in on the render. Viewer. Sometimes I'll make it a little bit more like that. Maybe a little bit more saturated if needed. Nah, I think it's fine. And then, yeah, that's fine. Oh, you put the camera. If you need it, you can also add depth of field. So it's not exactly perfect. It kind of works. Is that the settings I had over here? 2.3. Now we render that. There we go. So hanging's a little unfocused, so we can only just remove it. Re-render. Whoops, the stencil tab accident. Don't render the stencil tab, you gotta render the main tab, the main layer. There we go. We have our render with no background.